Well, it is because it's such a valuable resource. The resource we have, the natural history as well as the history, such an important part of Michigan's history and the national history, as well as the resources we have in the state of Michigan. Well, my job as a Curator of Natural History, I'm mostly responsible for our natural resources, protecting and preserving them, and very importantly, educating our public about the value of those resources. Well, I think it helps them understand their background, understand the value that we have of our resources, and just to experience how privileged they are to live in Michigan, to visit Michigan where we have these great resources. Well, everything from the waters to the forest to the wildlife, the geological features, the list goes on and on and on. And we're just, Michigan is really blessed to have these natural resources, and I think our visitors as well as the residents of Michigan should be aware of them. But just to enjoy natural resources, to see all those things that have attracted people for centuries here. We have gorgeous forests, we have the wildlife, we have the fish, we have everything that has attracted people here, and it's a great way to get away from some of the crowds you might have in downtown Mackinac City or downtown Mackinac Island. It's a great escape. Well, first of all, I hope that they understand the value and how important it is to protect and preserve these resources, but also I hope they enjoy them, learn how to enjoy them, so that if they enjoy them, then they'll want to protect and preserve them. Well, I think that the reason people have been coming here for hundreds and thousands of years is because of the natural resources. And what's special about the Straits of Mackinac, the parks we operate, is that we contain many of those same natural resources that have attracted people here from around the world for centuries. I think it's probably about the water, the fact that we have so much fresh water here, and there's no other place in the world that has as much fresh water as we have in the Great Lakes and the Straits of Mackinac. So I think that's something that people who live in Michigan don't understand, how lucky we are compared to the rest of the world. They just don't have that clean, fresh water that we have. Well, probably, taking good care of it, and also relaying that care that we have for this area to the rest of the world. I'm hoping that our public, both our local residents, our visitors, come and understand how important it is that we protect these natural resources, and they'll take that knowledge back wherever they go anywhere in the world, and they'll continue to protect our natural resources. Well, I spend most of my time at Mill Creek. In Mill Creek, one of my favorite spots is at the top of our treetop Discovery Tower, because up there I can see almost all of our parks. I can see Mackinac, I can see all that water in the Straits of Mackinac, and it's always a great view no matter what the weather is, and that's one of my favorite spots. I try to get up there at least once a day, as brief as it might be, because it is a kind of a special spot and a great view of the Straits of Mackinac from up there. Well, it is because those elementary kids are so excited to see something. I'm a total stranger to them, but I bring a lot of cool things, and I have their attention, and they just, they're so excited about it. And the fun thing about working with kids, other than adults tend to be too polite, and they may be bored, but they're not going to let you know that. With the kids, I know when they're bored, when they're not bored. And I don't get to do an awful lot, so it's just fun to be with kids who are so excited. And when talking to 3rd, 4th, 5th graders too, one of the biggest emphasis I put is how lucky they are. I just talk to the students that live in northern Michigan, go to school, most of them born and raised in northern Michigan, and many of them don't appreciate how lucky they are to be surrounded by these great natural resources. So I try to walk away with them believing that they're pretty lucky to have all that stuff. Well, so many of these kids in the schools have not visited us. Although over time, I asked the question, how many people have been to Fort Mackinac, Michilimackinac, and the Lighthouse? And those kids, a lot of them have been there or can't wait to go there. So it's an extension of our education programs we do on site, of course. It informs the schools and the teachers and the kids about our sites. Many of those teachers then will bring their kids here to our sites, and if not, many of the kids are excited about coming to visit us. So it's an extension of our education that we do all the time on our sites. I've always been interested in the outdoors. I've always been interested in wildlife, and so I've considered myself very lucky that I can work at a place where we do put an emphasis on natural history as well as our cultural history on their sites. But I think I'm privileged to be able to help other people learn and understand about it. So that's always been an exciting reason for being here. Well, of course we have hundreds and thousands of years of history on our sites, but those people came here for a reason, and primarily people came here because of the natural resources. And so the natural resources, they're still here. In many cases they're just as common and prominent, and partly because we've done a good job of preserving and protecting those. So we're not only telling the history of the people, but we're telling the history of why they came here, and very often it's because of the natural resources, whether it's the fish or the furs or the waterways and things like that. And so those are the things that we emphasize in our natural history interpretation of our sites also. Well, partly because we have examples right kind of on an intersection between where the boreal forest meets the mixed hardwood forest, and because we have this water connection too. There's so much that happens in the Straits of Mackinac. When it comes to the bird life, the Straits of Mackinac is such an important place because it's part of the migratory route. It's a crossroads, not only for the folks who are coming by canoe and by ship and so forth, a crossroads for the birds migrating. Water birds go through the straits because they need that narrow waterways connection. Land birds are attracted to the straits because it's a short connection between the upper peninsula and lower peninsula. So it's a fascinating place in the spring and the fall when birds that are not even residents here pass through.